Up the stream with knocking something over immediately after I hit the start streaming button. Few things are really at that level of making me feel like an absolute idiot. Think I have everything, so. Oh, of course. Oh, it actually worked. Never mind. Now, SaGa Frontier 2 does have some weird, it does some weird stuff with overscan. And of course, because CRT emulation is not a real thing, I just have most of that cropped off. I believe the actual effect of that on the game was to try to get a little bit of additional blur. I don't know that it necessarily worked on like the high quality displays. I'm drawing a blank. Broadcast type displays. Or even things like the Trinitron stuff. But I know that it certainly made this game blurry on just regular old CRTs. And I think the fact that my family had a 30-inch or 30-some-odd-inch CRT in the family room made it so that it this whole game definitely seemed a bit blurrier. There are a few options as far as displaying the sprites. I believe I have... I'm going to check it real quick so I can actually give you the correct info. Yeah, to actually accurately emulate a TV of the time period, I do have this squashed down to a 4x3. PlayStation's normal output is a little bit wider, but this game, and actually most games, tend to look a bit closer to how I remember them when actually displaying their output as 4x3. Anyway, the start of this game starts up with, well, effectively us seeing kind of the end days of this war. War is, as is probably pretty obvious by the fact that it's a video game, pretty important to the storyline of this game. For the most part, though, we're looking at it from an outsider's perspective. Gustav the 13th is, of course, the most important character to, it's arguable, the entire storyline of SaGa Frontier 2. And that little special scene happened because we did not have a save on either memory card. Of course, if we were to reset, we would get a... And actually, I'll show that off. What we will instead see is a actual start menu. I forget what all options are present on it. I think it's just new and continue. But, yeah. And even with this being at a resolution where everything is displaying reasonably sharply, obviously with the bit of upscaling I'm doing in OBS, it's not as sharp as it would be if I was doing it on the emulator. But it's reasonably sharp. And we start off by seeing a painting of the, I actually forget I think it's Finny family. Gustav and Sophie and Gustav XIII, his younger brother, and I believe that's a younger sister. Now, you can also see that picture in the background there. Now, the game tends to go light on details for Gustav's scenario. Quell, for example. Quell's just another word for essentially magical artifact. They also don't go into much detail as to why it's done at 7. Basically, as an incredibly powerful quell, for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, it would draw far more than whatever is necessary to demonstrate. And I believe that's largely considered true regardless of how in control of the elements you are. You need to know how to specifically activate the quell, and that's done by learning at a young age when you can't handle that much. Now the reason why this is considered important is basically not having anima, especially not having anima as a member of royalty, puts him in a position where he's effectively lost a limb, or he's lame. And this is important to the game for the very simple reason of, if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have an arm, and here we see Gustav's younger brother. And yes, I will be continuing my inconsistent pronunciation, in case anybody's wondering. Flopping back and forth between Gustav and Gustav. The not having a limb analogy is important because in modern times it would be... you wouldn't necessarily treat them poorly, but you would keep in mind and then have special consideration for their needs. This isn't the modern time, this is medieval. Even though there's magic, there's still rampant classism. and there's no real way to deal with somebody who doesn't have, say, a hand. So, or who's blind. And that's what Gustav effectively is. He's anima blind. And in this world, that's huge. Anima's how a lot of people do everything. If you come from a line of people where everybody can light a fire without using matches, and you come across one member of your tribe who needs matches, you're not going to treat them the same as everybody else. That's just a fact of life. Now, of course, Gustav, coming from a line of nobles, is going to be a little shit for the first handful of scenarios we actually control him. Sealmer is also an interesting character. It stands to reason that, assuming he's telling the truth here, he either knew and felt that Gustav had a sufficiently strong personality or could tell something was up with Gustav. But he could tell that something was off. And that is why he comes and visits Sophie and Gustav. Now, it's not abnormal, especially for medieval time, for a visiting noble, assuming that's what Sealmer is, and given that he's referred to by the title of Master, it's reasonable to assume that he's a noble. From somewhere in Grugel. Not in line to anything, but probably a second or third son. And it's reasonable to assume, thus, that he has a reasonable amount of power. The fact that he is able to just leave essentially on a whim means that obviously Gustav the 12th had a lot of respect for him. But there are some oddities, the first of which is coming up here. This little cutscene. Not the stealth, that's just how this game handles stealth. Rather the fact that the game is pretty consistent with its sound effects. That wasn't the sound effect for a hypnosis spell. At least not one from a human. That was a sound effect used for a monster's sleep spell. We'll probably come across that at some point in time in the future, but odds are I will not be remembering it. And here we have another Gustav scenario. The first. I'm going to try to get all of the hidden, I think most people agree to call them, scenarios. They require selecting them in largely chronological order. yeah, Gustav is a little shit. He'll be a little shit for a while. Even when he is better early on, he's still a little shit. That is such a good sound effect. Also, these text boxes are painfully small at times. And that bit of text there kind of helps to state what I'm pretty sure a lot of the opinion of people are. The people who cannot use spells are effectively subhuman, just like at the time period people who lose a hand, people who are blind, deaf. They would have needed to be taken care of by relatives or the church. And I don't know that SaGa Frontier 2 really goes into much detail with the church. It's actually one of its odd points that feels like it's missing. And here we see one of the first characters who remains relevant to the Gustav scenario. Leslie. She actually doesn't show up very frequently. I don't remember, in fact, if the in-game little chronological thing references her much or at all. The Gustav side, most of what... And I'll actually show the little item real quick. The little chronicle of history, chronological table. I'm not going to go forward too much. Just stopping here. Going forward one more would likely result in spoilers I don't want to go over too much right now. But we can also see that tools, which we haven't really gone over yet, but are relevant to the use of spell arts and hybrid arts, are a fairly recent invention, last 400 years. Now, the oddity, of course, is that the game kinda treats all of this as known. Where's Finney Island? Where is the Knoll territory? Well, to know, we would have to go back to the world map and kinda guess to a certain extent. Now, there's the northern continent, which is unexplored. I don't believe that we can even see anything here. Obviously, we can see that on the map there are certain areas that would seem like we will eventually go that just don't have anything that pops up. It's reasonable to assume that Finney, Knoll, etc. are Eastern Continent. And since tools originated in the Southern Continent, it's a bit surprising that the southern continent does not control everything. And of course this was where the Gustav 12 years old scenario is. But at 13 he apparently moved to Jade, or Wide. And Wil is of course mostly still in the Merchman region. At least to start. And Gustav is, as the thing stated, a smith in training. Or will be. And this is a giant text box. I have to imagine that it was much smaller in the Japanese version, owing to the fact that the Japanese tends to be a bit more efficient text-wise. There's very few places we can actually... I did not mean to leave. There's very few places we can leave, but this is one of either 1 or 2 times we have to check this out. Which is one of those things that really suggests this game got a lot of art done for it. For areas that were intended to be important, intended to be long-lasting, and that only showed up once or twice. I think twice for this area. Might be 3 times. But this style is kind of how the whole game is. And aesthetically, I think that this is very, very pretty. But this, I don't think we're actually interactive next time we see this city. So this is effectively a one-off, full of, well, the sprites we'll see again, but the backgrounds, the lighting effects, the steam off that plate. This is it. Oh, it's that lady. And this is the home of the kid. And we don't have a pocket station. In fact, most people wouldn't have had a pocket station. There was, what, 2 games in English that used a pocket station? It was not much. Now, we can't go really anywhere else. Oh, there's this lady we didn't talk to. Now, we can go in here, but it actually provides us access to the exact same set of places we could go before. There's this lady who sells some stuff. It's important to use up credits as you have access to them. Chipping things puts them into... I think it's chipping, puts the credits into circulation and some... I don't remember the actual details of it. But Gus stays with us, so his credits stay with us. Each character, each time you have a new lead character, they have their own stack of 1,000 credits. Now, some of them can't use those credits, some of them only have access to crap. If this was the type of store that we would have access to potentially chip everything, it would be unfortunate, but not that surprising. It would still be decent. There's also this character. This character represents story advancement, obviously, as he's the only character we've seen that we have not talked to. So, smiths are an odd sort. Now, obviously, at the start of the game, we saw people using, I think it was wood spears and light spears. This is the first reference we've seen to something that's not, well, to steel. Why is steel uncommon? There are a few reasons for this. One of the big ones is that unlike SaGa Frontier 1, this game doesn't reward you for going all in on spells or even all in on arts. There's no crown system. This game instead wants everybody to be kind of a hybrid, and the top tier arts, skills, spells, etc. are not used sparingly, but there's a reason you're going to be using spells more than arts. Also, next time I control a character, which will be in just a little bit, first scenario after this, I will demonstrate one oddity about this game as far as the SaGa series goes. Also, this song reminds me, I love the music in this game. They're not all the best songs, but I don't really grow tired of any. That's weird, I must have hit the right button. What? Oh. I always forget there's quick save in this. I'll also show that when we return, when we once again have control. The next scenario is Gustav at 15 years of age. Now, Flynn obviously moved with Gus. Presumably didn't even have to get an okay from his parents. He was just following along with the one noble with whom he really had a shot at getting a job. Now we'll start this off with control of Gus. And one of the things that you'll notice is with the equipped arts, in the top right we can see our skill level. There's the elements, the 6 elements, wood, water, stone, tone, fire, and beast on the right. It might be tree rather than wood, but it's effectively the same difference. And the 6 weapon types on the left. Oh, actually, it's right below there. Martial, sword, axe, staff, spear, and bow. I did not realize it was right below there. I'm dumb. Gus is one of 2 people who are allegedly good with martial. Don't use martial. Punching sucks. There's no good punch abilities. In addition, while he regains 4... I think it's supposed to be weapon points in this translation. If you're at all familiar with the SaGa series, Waza points. He regains 4 Waza a turn. Unless it's the end, the final round. He doesn't regain them then. So you want to use items that take 3 or less most of the time, or 4 or less if you know it's going to be a longer fight. Really, almost everything with Gus should be using the swords. And I forget... There's a... Yeah, that's how... By holding X and moving it up and down, you can move that line. The purpose of that line's not going to be obvious until we actually gain arts. This is, of course, just a general overview of the characters. And here we can see the some general details. Gus has 0 SP. SP is spell points, equivalent to jutsu points or jutsu points. Probably jutsu points. JP from the prior game. Now, we also cannot unequip his trial dagger, or... Oh, we can unequip the iron breastplate. And... viewing the stats, we can see that the iron steel is pretty strong. We also see he starts with an Arcstone. Arcstones that restore all party WP and SP sounds great in theory, but as your SP gets lower, you actually become stronger at using your various spells. And I don't think it matters which one we go into. I believe they all just take Gus to the same spot. Yeah, just showing us the first one. And Gus wants to fight some monsters. He's trained up a bit. Now you might be wondering, does this mushroom, cloud, shaking, whatever, does it do anything? No. Again, I assume the art side was done before anything else. And I forgot to show it off, but there's this recover HP command. Now I believe LP is always restored in between scenarios, and none of the scenarios are long enough for the relatively limited amount of LP for any of these characters really to matter. So by association, until basically endgame, when you start seeing attacks that just straight reduce LP, this game's not very difficult. Oh, we might have gained Deflect, or I know that it was required to be learned in SaGa Frontier. I don't know if that's the case. I don't remember, I guess I should say, if that's the case in 2. We'll see. And that's the quick save. You can do that at any point in time. Obviously we regained a bit of HP at the end of that fight. Now, because there are rewards to getting in fights, largely on the things that you learn and stat increases, things of that nature, most of the time you're going to want to actually get into fights, especially since they're very rarely going to be at all any level of difficulty. And Gus is, of course, kind of overpowered for this area already. His armor, the fact that he's using steel everything means that nothing's really going to damage him too much. Also, these bunnies. This gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about an oddity in the game. Enemies are stored according to scene. Scene is Scene differs in some cases just according to what room you're in. So there's 60 some odd scenes, 80 some odd scenes. Now the buckler sucks, but we don't have a shield. So obviously it's better than anything else we would have. Am I... I was thinking that was the way over there. Oh, I guess we actually do have access to this early stuff. Now, this one is fought, I believe, in a duel. And if I was smart, I would have had a list of the arts already up. I meant to, I just forgot about it. Now, one of the big reasons for that is because there are a variety of moves, and this is a specific type of battle. It's a duel. Duels, you can learn a lot of the very strong moves fairly easily. Now, the main one I'm going to be going for, largely because I know it's relatively easy to get, is Smash. Since I was able to get that, I will then be going for a move that's just as strong as Smash, but allows us to also use Defend. Using Defend at any point in time basically decreases the amount of damage you receive by half. Unfortunately, we were not able to get a double break off, or double stroke off, but it, hey, it actually has a decent number of uses. It is Flame. I can't remember if that's especially useful or not. And I'm gonna check out all of the first rooms before moving on. I'll eventually be checking out this entire dungeon to make sure I get everything, but... And really, I should probably just be starting to move on here, but... Oh, I forgot to equip. So yeah, that's a good reason to double check and make sure you have the right stuff set up at any time you learn something new. Fortunately, I don't think Gus is ever going to be at really any danger of dying in any of the battles in his scenario. His scenarios. I guess it's above the... I don't... The way the line works doesn't always make sense to me. Is there... I guess that's just access through a different route. And here we have Kelvin. Kelvin, by comparison, is not as good. Now he does have a Quell, and this is actually a really good Quell. Water and Tree are both pretty dang strong. I believe Water is... Actually, I don't fully remember what the hybrid arts for Spear are. I'm trying to find it real quick. Yeah, the strongest... Not the strongest. The basic hybrid art for Spear. Actually, all of them. All the hybrid arts for Spear use water. There's a fire water, stone water, and just a basic water. We're probably going to want to be trying to learn those with Kelvin. He's not a perfect person to learn them with, but we will have arguably the best person to learn them with pretty soon. And there's just general... Oh, I guess in this scene the general purpose is mushroom. I was thinking the general purpose for this entire area was stone. And so we also have Gus. Gus is obviously going to be demonstrably stronger than Kelvin for a bit. For a few reasons. The stronger weapon, double strength weapon in comparison. Higher stats overall. Better armor, I'm pretty sure. Now, this is a good kind of representation, at least early on, of what Gus's personality is. He's definitely reckless. I'm not going to argue that. But, oh, that's unfortunate. He definitely also takes everything kind of as having a purpose. I'm gonna see if maybe using Wood Spear. I don't think that it'll actually come up because that'll just kill the bunny. But I'm gonna try start using Wood Spear, see if that helps get maybe spark some arts or spark a spell. I don't remember if spells are actually sparkable. And I'm pretty sure that's guaranteed to be a low use light spear. Not super relevant, but... Oh, and I think I realized what one of my issues is. This game has a little bit of a positioning system. Note that you can't change the positioning of your characters, and it's based almost entirely on a combo of where your characters are in party. and which fight you ended up in. Oh yeah, I can change the role of everybody as well. Support's not actually going to do anything, I don't think. Cannonball has a little bit better, or no, solo action has a little bit better rate of figuring out the abilities, so until we're actually at the point where that stuff matters, I'm just going to be having everybody run solo action. And Gustav is still faster because the sword was, for a lot of Gus's scenario, the sword's going to be in its kind of optimal range. We'll be able to see that very obviously if we ever get a timely action pop up. The timely actually refers to range rather than pressing any type of button. Certain things in this game are just real dumb. But yeah, the battle system's reasonably slow, so. And we've gotten a couple weapon levels. That's always good for some damage. Okay, so the first one does not have anything. After this fight, I am going to want to double check and make sure that I have Kelvin's weapons set up as I want them. Kelvin should be the faster one here, but surprisingly, Gus still went first. Oh, it's actually a decent amount of uses on that light spear. Now, the light spear is definitely the better weapon, better secondary weapon for him, basically because it's both a stronger version of his normal weapon, always useful, and provides actually unique magic to him. He doesn't have fire on another one of these. And indeed, most pieces of armor are not going to have any source of any of that stuff. And I don't know what SP Enhance does. I'm not real sure there's... Okay, so putting that on increased his SP by 1 and gave an additional SP regen. Obviously, we can see that it doesn't do anything for Gustav. And I'm gonna see if that big slime is still around, see if I can't get a hybrid art learned with Kelvin. Because if I can pull that one off, darn. It wouldn't just be helping Kelvin, it would be helping every spear user for a bit. And given that one of the strongest characters in the first half or so of the game is a spear user. It's a pretty major get if you can get this in this scenario. And this is pretty much par for the course, I'd say, for most people's first go of Gus's scenario, first actual combat scenario. Gus is really meant to be carrying this team. And the ability is supposed to be Water Charge Thrust. And hopefully it works. It might be strong enough to I always forget that water works as a heal. It just doesn't come up very frequently. Oh, this might actually be a really good opportunity to do this. Of course, it also could never, work. But it's not like we are using anything, losing any resources to do this. And of course, if we do manage to pull it off, it'll be instant death for the gremlin, I'm pretty darn sure. Owing to the fact that it would be about twice as much attack power as Smash. Okay, I'm just gonna try a regular spear ability. This enemy might have too low of a whatever it is that makes it so that abilities pop up. Well, give the frog skewer or whatever it is one more try. On the upside, this does at least give him Kelvin a... I love the name of that. The gremlin was apparently a bit stronger than I was anticipating. Might not be a bad idea to switch over to the light spear for now. Just for the additional damage. And I'll show off the recover HP. It's instant, so don't need to worry about it. And like I've said, I'm pretty sure that the LP gets recharged in between scenarios. Might even be recharged if you hit up an N, but I don't think that's the case. Not that anything actually has Ns in any meaningful quantity. This thing has way more health than I was thinking it did. Also, I'm kind of surprised that I never procced Rush with the this combo, which is the other low, just the combo of charge and thrust. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Oop. I'm gonna keep going with Skewer because generally speaking, you tend to have better odds using a ability you've learned rather than trying to learn a new one. Obviously Kelvin could grab Smash or Double Slash. Smash is about the same level as, or Skewer is about the same level as Smash. Unfortunate that he did not learn the hybrid arts, but it happens. I believe they're fairly low likelihood anyway. And of course, one of the problems that we've already kind of discovered is Gustav's been gradually losing WP because we're ending battles with Smash. So if we have the opportunity, it'd be nice to get a 3 WP cost. Unfortunately, those will all be a little bit lower in damage. I think running slash is the closest, or at least the closest of the ones that use 2 commands in duels. And I'm actually going to try to have this take 2 turns, so that both of them can recover WP. As can be seen, their basic abilities are effectively the same. But part of this also depends upon luck to a certain extent. Where does this pop us out? Ah, that's the thing that went up above. That's not that. Okay, so those two are just connected. Interesting. Oh, the goblin's back. I'm gonna see about just fighting him as Gustav. If maybe I can get one of the stronger still abilities. And we got timely action there. I think this is ultimately my kind of preferred way to try to do this one, both because it only uses a single WP in duels, and because if it actually goes off, Bull Crush is about twice as powerful as Smash. And even if it doesn't, Charge still bumps up the power a little bit. But yeah, that went off a lot smoother than trying to do that same fight with Kelvin. Gus is, and in large part it's because of his weapon, just a lot stronger right now. And as I recall, that's kind of going to continue throughout most of his scenario. Gus is really powerful in comparison to most people he has, or has access to. So a lot of your strength in the Gus scenario is going to come from the fact that, assuming you're doing the Will scenario at the same time, the fact that you have access to skills and spells gained from Wil's side. I'm gonna see about getting Gus some more sword skills. It might not be as important as well... I'd forgotten about the cross-counter thing happening. I'm pretty sure that where you put the defend doesn't matter, so... But Gus is doing pretty well with or without his, any additional abilities. Actually a little bit surprised at him getting, HP in here. That's actually kind of rare. This might kill both, which not really my intention. I did want some WP regen. Next time we have a duel, might have to go into it with Kelvin, just so he can regen some of that WP. Oh, Skewer apparently has a death blow effect. Death blow is odd. When it goes off, it just straight up removes an LP from somebody. But enemies have a variable amount of LP, which I presume is life points. So obviously if an enemy has 1 LP, then doing an LP damage is death. Bosses generally have enough that you can't do it to them though. And then occasionally you'll run into a boss where that's the easy way to beat them. That's just SaGa Frontier. I really wish I'd gotten a dang hybrid art. Or maybe that spears could have an actually good hybrid art, easily learned. That's the hardest anything's hit Gus so far. But yeah, a lot of the duel system kinda ends up being figuring out your strongest ability that you can use with 3, especially if it has a fall through that even if it doesn't go off, the backup's still of reasonable strength. and then making sure you have a defend in there. And there's two ways of doing this. The Burglar Chief can't actually attack, so you can do whatever just by taking her out, or you can take the burglars out. For some reason, I think that wasn't the intended effect. But I believe the burglars have a fairly reasonable amount of health. 250 something of the sort. Might be actually 300. But as you saw there, the duo attack did pretty similar damage to the triple attack, and her ability is only pumping 3 or 4 damage into that, so, or rather the difference there was almost 100. Not the closeness, the difference was still fairly large. And of course, because we have learned this, this combo can be set, which will make it more likely to occur in the future. Now, obviously, the vast majority of its damage is because Smash is really strong. Hey, a stone axe. I believe it'll have not enough uses to make it worth it. Now, I'd like to note, who came away with what they actually wanted from that one? Because, yeah, we're starting to see some of the personality of Kelvin and Gustav. But Kelvin was really probably looking more towards a thank you or being remembered at all by Gus, not effectively ignored once Gus had gotten what he wanted. And to keep things chronologically, since we just experienced Gus at 15, we'll experience Wil at 15. That is a rude as heck order. Especially since the dungeons available to a first-time explorer are not going to, you know, they're going to have been picked over ridiculously. Now, Wil is, as you can see by the little pluses, a very good caster. Like Gus, he has a lot of HP because he's been trained to fight. Screw you too, little girl. Now, you can't really do anything in most people's houses. I just want to show the art off. I believe going into this bar is storyline progression. This is extremely useful. Obviously, we can't grab his sword. And I don't want to grab his armor. Steel head, well, I'll show it off with a save state. If I can control save states. Okay, that's... I apparently don't have access to hotkeys at the moment. But... so I probably should have just done a quick save instead. But as you can see, equipping just the breastplate drops his SP by 35, and kills at least 2 SP regen. Now what we want, maybe the light spear, but really the Bertrang, and I'm gonna equip the Arcstone as well. And now even though we just stole a Quell, we cannot go back to his aunt and uncle and now, of course, an oddity is he has all those skill points, skill levels, but doesn't actually have any spells or hybrid arts. That's the weaker of the two. The hat's the weaker of the two. And like I say, the SP enhance, I have no idea. It seems like most people probably have no idea. I think it's Wil's scenario. Everything has stone, so stone's not very useful. Now we have tree, water tree, we could grab something from, well, really the hunter bow, but I think I want to grab that fire charm. I'll check if there's... oh, this is the repair. Repair isn't that useful. Generally speaking, you get new versions of weapons frequently enough that unless you're dealing with something that's way stronger, it's better to let it break in your hands, because that only happens at the end of battle. You're not going to have something break in the middle of battle. Wil is basically the only exception to that. There are a few times where you're just not getting replacement staves. But he's not even the best character in his scenarios. Yeah, honestly, it's fine to... Nope, I'm not hitting up the bar until I've talked to everybody. Most likely after this first scenario for Will, I am going to be done because it's going to take a little bit. Now, the interesting thing here... Oh, so the save state button wanted to work now. I can even select the state. Now, I want to do a save state here because these characters say things differently depending upon the order you speak to them in. Cody, of course, is going to be fairly respectful regardless. Narcisse here, if you talk to him second, is a little bit... I mean, this is kind of on point. Conversely, if you take him first, the same line is the same, but he's a little bit more mentor-like. Now, regardless, now that line actually doesn't mean anything. There is no share splitting. See, if you take him first, Narcisse is like a mentor. If you take him second, well, he knows that, well, he's second to a pretty girl that just walked in. He's obviously fairly old, and 15's the standard age for a lot of characters to start out. As can be seen by the different SP rates and WP rates. WP is, I believe, almost entirely age-based. Characters have minor differences. Gus had 2 more at 15 than Will does. But it goes down as you get older. Once you hit, I think it's once you're past like 20. But as you can see, basically everybody is reasonably good at a few things. Cody here, on an absolute scale, she's one of the stronger characters. due to the fact that she uses spears, and spears are one of the stronger weapons. At least while she's around. This is a multi-generational game, obviously. For the time that you have her, she's probably going to be not only the strongest character you have in Wil's scenario, she's probably going to be carrying the team. Now that seems like a bit of an exaggeration, a low LP character with only moderate abilities and you know, yeah, she has 6 pluses, but only 4 of them are in spells and she doesn't start off with any abilities. How is she going to be the strongest character? Well, we'll see. Honestly, I kind of suspect that by the end of this scenario, in all likelihood, she'll be as strong as Narcisse. I think using that rest might recover LP as well. It's certainly a way to recover SP and WP. Oh yeah, I didn't actually do too much checking out of the gear, I just kind of demonstrated. Now, Narcisse has a tree bow, and he has a fire charm to make sure that he has access to fire. We can give him the hunter bow just as a backup weapon. It's not a big deal. And actually, I'm gonna go back real quick and steal the light spear. You could steal more stuff, but it's not really going to be that important. The light spear is mostly just going to be useful because it's an additional weapon for her that's in her type. And equipping her with the Arcstone means that she thus has access to all the important stuff. I might end up swapping the Quell over to her. Since she wants water access more than Wil really does, because the hybrid art, assuming that I can actually get lucky and learn it with her, is going to make her that alone would be enough to make her the strongest character for at the least today, and it would not even be close. That seems like it might be something useful. I believe it is actually not. It's not bad. It's better than I was thinking it was. The loss of LP is actually not that big of a deal. I'm going to put it on Cody just because she doesn't have much in the way of defensive gear. And I should have probably switched Narcisse. I should have probably switched everybody to solo action 1. And I should have probably switched the location of Narcisse and Cody. Big guy is probably the important target to take out. And we're already starting to get some techniques. And Wil just took a very hard hit. And the various abilities have certain moves that they can rank up into. We just saw that with Lawnmower being learned. And we can see from Narcissa's stuff that using magic didn't decrease anything. It's only actually if it's on the list for that item does it decrease its uses. So it's pretty easy to get through without using much of your uses for a lot of stuff. Especially if you're kind of magic focused. No, the steel amulet sucks. Not really any way around that. I'll show it off real quick. Now, keeping in mind that de-equipping the Arkstone already causes a reduction of 1 SPR. The steel amulet causes a further reduction of SPR. It only helps you out defensively a fairly minor amount. Like I said at the start, if you're not Gus, and I seem to recall it's only Gus. If you're not Gus, steel is stupid. Now, in sharp contrast to last scenario where Gus went first basically all the time, in every other scenario, the spear user is going to be going first most of the time. That's because of what I mentioned with when I was talking about the distance being important. It's never really that important. Let's see if we can't look into a... There's a list of those somewhere, and before we get too many more, I want to move some of the ones we've gotten. Up above. Now, knowing those... Oh, and I still forgot to set the style for everybody. Now we can see what the various things are. Now, honestly, keeping Narcissus heavy spell is probably still good. Most of the time, that's probably going to be best for him anyway. Now, I didn't actually move anybody yet because I remembered Tyler was going to be coming along. Tyler uses axes. Tyler is in an odd spot there because axes suck. But he's in a good spot because nobody else wants axes, and during his time in the party, we'll come across basically every axe worth equipping. So... Oops. Now his intimidate select support thing isn't really that useful. I believe staves are a little bit longer than axes. Axes and fists are shortest. I believe swords and staves are the next longest. Spears and such are a little bit longer, and bows are the longest. I could be misremembering, but it's not hugely important in the first place. So it's mostly just small benefit. And I'm going to grab a drink after this combat is over. Oop. That was not my intent. Saw that I had a water bottle in the bag nearby, so I grabbed that real quick. And a few skill levels, and oh, I was thinking that actually went somewhere. Now where Tyler was is obviously progression. And due to luck of the draw, Wil appears to be getting the best of the abilities from people. Obviously, stave abilities still primarily not that great, but if you're stuck using WP, use what you got. And I haven't really yet been able to demonstrate why SP is so nice to use in comparison. Basically, Narcisse's gear gives him a lower limit on what his SP will be at entering a battle, and that is 16. Now obviously 16 is enough to use a spell. 16 is enough to use his Bushfire twice. And I believe at 16 SP it would be about twice as strong as it is at full SP. I'd already forgotten what the spear hybrid art that I want to learn is. Now Cody's a bit better to learn the things anyway because she's in more scenarios. And I believe she has slightly better learning a lot of the abilities anyway. That still doesn't make it exactly likely to happen, but... I expect her to be more likely to pick up Rush, if nothing else, than Kelvin was. Boom, Cody's the best character I have. Now, why is she the best character that I have? Bushfire is a 28 power attack spell. Oh yeah, I forgot to equip Skewer. Yeah, Swing and Stab doesn't have any real utility when I have Snake Blaster, which is a 72 attack power hybrid art, meaning it uses SP instead of WP. That best versus plants is actually useful. Oh, I didn't realize that I could grab him. Bushfire. That's probably a good one to be having Wil use. It won't learn him anything, but it's not like staves are that good anyway. Well, for the most part. We should eventually get him the one single hybrid art for staves. Just because the hybrid arts tend to be better than most of the spells. a lot of spells just are not offensive, is the real issue. But this is a good area to learn abilities with a lot of your characters. I'm going with Wil here to see if we can get maybe a couple of... I'll be real honest, I'm going with Wil to see if I can luck into that staff hybrid art. I think that's the only sorcery we have. It is, unfortunately. Oh, I might be having a bit better luck if I unequip roll beat. What I was gonna say, it is unfortunately got a dual issues of being a 4-command ability. And, of course, having actual fall-through for abilities we know. I think I'll just go back to the staff arts. Good. Yep, since we did learn that, I think I'll give the... Wait, is it swings? Tree, swing, swing, swing again. Combo again. And no, there is no way to view the list of skills you already know once you're in a duel. And that also demonstrates one of the oddities with spells. You learn a spell by using the corresponding she really doesn't need that. Elements. Oh, and I can demonstrate why that bone breastplate's not that good. it has no base SP bonus. So while the rest of her stuff does provide her 15 base SP, the caster cloth would provide an additional 10 base SP. And this is actually one of the things that I've, heard makes the steel stuff allegedly useful, as it drops down your max, but it also drops down your regen. That was not intentional. But yeah, you might also be wondering, okay, so that takes 6 SP, is that relevant? And because of what I've gone over, it really isn't. Sure, it might suck if you need to use Snake Blaster a whole bunch of times. Because as your SP decreases, yeah, your spells become stronger. But they also, if you have no SP, you can't use it, right? Well, no, you can use it at the cost of an LP. Now, Cody doesn't have a lot of LP, so that does hurt, but... she's still going to be a lot better than, basically anybody else. Shit. So yeah, Cody took out the dangerous one, and now we're dealing with everything else. And Tomahawk is kind of interesting because it does sort of raise the question of how do you get the axe back? Like, obviously there's the whole, oh yeah, most of the people who can do it have access to spell arts. But you can do it with Gus, too. I always think that little tile that's hanging off into the blackness there is a pickup. So I guess that, it just returns as part of physics. You throw it that hard. Or at the perfect angle, I don't know. As you can see, it's really not that useful. Also, we've reached an odd part where Narcisse has already started to limit some of his value by the fact that one of the best things he did was come with bushfire. And when I originally played this game, I, like probably most people, was kind of afraid of using SP too much. I tried to keep everything sort of balanced. But now I know that that's foolish. There's really no reason to do it. Your characters become much stronger if you just use what you have access to. And Cody just got us a strong as heck spell. And it's cheap. I don't think. I don't think most of our people can use it. Because it requires access to water, and the birch rings are only real access to that right now. I'll equip it to everybody. It's too good not to. I just don't think anybody can use it aside from her yet. And she's too busy being our big enemy killer. Of course, I may have also misremembered what all's required for actually using. Yeah, he doesn't have either, so he can't use either. Yeah, unfortunate. Oh, it looks like bushfire will hit both, so that's not that big of a deal. Did that just miss? Or did I just not pay attention at the time the damage numbers were popping up? But yeah, first time I played this game, I basically, at end of game, I still had effectively no spells. 36. Hold up. That was weird. So this gives us a new, and for this dungeon anyway, useful spell. Won't always be useful. Won't always have free access to stone. But right now we do. So. I'm gonna keep fighting battles because I'm, as stated, not losing anything from them. I should probably look into getting the axe hybrid art for Tyler. I would need to equip some fire on him, but we actually have a couple sources of that. Something's occasionally clipping my mic. And the gradual accumulation of crowns is really not that important. This entire time we've gotten almost enough to pay for that 100 crown item single that I purchased with Will. And I forgot to grab the fire thing, so it's still going to be a team battle. Now I'd like to note, Tyler not really being that capable with spells is one of the reasons why when I played through this originally, I actually just dumped steel stuff on him, and later you get a sword, a steel sword that's pretty decent. I just had him use that because I didn't want him using something that would break. But yeah, Cody's water levels are probably going to get to pretty absurd pretty quick. I mean, her spear level is already getting up there. Narcisse's level lead is not sufficient to really keep him up there. What's that gem particle? Oh, and Bone is Beast. That isn't that useful, at least not now. No, actually. Yeah, he has fire. I don't need to worry about the fire for that. And with any luck, we'll be able to get this going pretty quickly. No, since that didn't happen, I'm only going to give it a couple tries, because I don't want to risk losing that flame charm. since my only other reasonable access to stuff right now is on weapons, and I don't want to swap out Tyler's weapon at the moment. The axe stuff is kind of weird in that there's very few of the abilities actually have fall through that works. But there's an enemy that we're going to come across in a bit that has a higher level, effectively. It'll be obvious when we see it because it's a skeleton. That is, if I, assuming I actually remember this dungeon correctly. It should hit both. And just using skill arts of any kind allows you to have the possibility of gaining WP, which is always kind of weird when you're just using hybrid arts. I believe these are at the same odds, so they're similar enough anyway. I know the skeleton is good as far as that goes, so I just want to make sure to use that. Yeah. And we've been getting good number of skill levels. I can't remember exactly where to go here. Encounters are, for the most part, not a big deal right now. Largely because as SP decreases even further, the spells are going to do more damage, which is absurd. and is, I believe, one of the reasons why the hybrid arts are actually a little bit stronger than they would seem to be. Normal arts don't have that damage scaling, or if they do, it feels comparatively minor. And just don't go up to the same level of overall attack power, with a few exceptions. I mean, the strongest sword art is, I think, a little bit stronger than its hybrid arts. But the strongest staff art and the strongest spear art are a little bit behind, I believe. I think this gives me a shortcut out. Obviously I need to actually get out, but... And assuming that we are provided with the option of doing so, once we are out, I am going to save up again. This has actually been taking a little bit longer than I was anticipating. I was expecting to be done with this prior to this point, but I guess I forgot just how much combat there was. Then again, most of my memory is focused on the Gus scenarios, so that's... Forgetting about some of the combat is not that surprising. Sonic Burner. Hey, Gus. No. Oh, a crappy area attack spell. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And that's useful for, actually, there's really no reason to go back thinking of it. I don't need the damage decrease from resting. Thank you. I'm focusing on spell arts because if I'm being real honest, I've beaten this game once, and I don't think that I learned very many spell arts during the entirety of the first time I played through. Reasonably certain I just ran through Gus's scenario and then kind of tried to speedrun Will's scenario as much as possible with the gear acquired from that. Ghost, huh? Okay, so the ghost needs to be killed with spells of some kind. And I forget. No, we don't really have the ability to revive using that. I'm thinking at the moment it's a little bit more important to actually kill the ghost. And this also kind of raises one of the issues with healing is Will's just going to be alive at the end of turn anyway. Or at the end of combat anyway, I should say. I don't even think being down stops him from learning stuff. May have. And that's the first of the wells, if I remember correctly. Stone. I mean, not that we really need stone for anything now, but it is useful to have just to bump up the minimum SP for everybody. I believe this is the skeleton. Nope. Why was I thinking that that was this? Oh, I know that one. One of the... It's one of the, slime encounters from the original SaGa Frontier. Was a really annoying skeleton. I think that would have had to have been Blue's scenario, since I didn't really, or Red, or whoever the caster was, since I didn't really do too much of anybody else's scenarios. Chris Knife is, I believe, just a generic quell. Oh, it's a weapon. Yeah. I mean, Pokemon with these types of systems could be interesting. That would actually be fewer elements, I think, than what Pokemon actually has now. Lots of things kind of use the sort of similar-esque designs. I feel like I'm going backwards here because I feel like I've already gone through this part of the dungeon, but... my memory is trash, so... At least I know I have that shortcut out. And since I'm gonna have those two for a while, I should probably move their dual attack above the line. And I think Wil's Quell decreased his damage enough that that's the reason we're not one-shotting those things anymore. Ow. Oh, this is the skeleton. Yeah, we have the fire charm equipped. Ah, and tree and beast. Nobody in the party currently needs either of those, but... Dang it. I meant to click Tyler. I was just looking away when I did so, so... I didn't actually hit... Oh, Jesus. Did not actually hit down. Oh, and I can't reasonably tell if that's hitting the ghosts as well. Oh yeah, I'm aware. I expected it to be real annoying with Tyler. I just know that I could use the fact that the skeleton is higher level. And, well, the fact that you can recover HP to full with LP. I just wasn't expecting 2 ghosts to be the accompaniment for my screw-up. It's... I think... Ah, yeah, that wouldn't have hit the second one anyway. That and I'd have probably been better off saving beforehand anyway, just in case Tyler did go down. Not to that attack, to fighting the skeleton. Just as a backup weapon. Yeah, especially since we can save anywhere. There's really no reason not to before I do something stupid like try to get Tyler his hybrid art. His hybrid art that's not even that good. Charge throw. Oh yeah, it would have helped if I'd gone into that at full health. Or he might have just been straight one shot. Yeah. Yeah, I think the way to heal will be to go through a normal encounter. Or I could have used an LP once I got in there. Yeah. Yeah, her quell has tree anyway, so... Could use that for bushfire. Need to remember to equip it, but... Might be a good idea to equip this. I don't think that's actually enough HP. Fortunately, the defend works anywhere in the combo. Unfortunately, we're not getting fire wheel to start. Oh. I wasn't expecting 4 hits to actually go off from the skeleton. It's fine, too many times missing the combo anyway, and I'd need to do a quick load. Of course, this time I screwed up by not not starting with the recover HP. And he's dead anyway. I'm real clever at that. May just end up skipping this since it really isn't that important. I'll give it one more shot though. That first time when Tyler only had 80 health is apparently the only time that's going to work. Lucked into not getting stunned. Though I think he's dead. Tyler, that is. Yep. Wait, does he have 1 health? 3 health. Yep. Kinda what I expected. Tyler is, at least presently, the, probably the weakest of the bunch. I don't know that Axel Turn actually really has anything it can learn either. At least the SP floor makes spells a lot more viable than I thought they were first time I played. I should probably check just how many levels in water she's gotten. Yeah. That starting gap between Narcisse and Cody has almost disappeared already. Oh, I went the wrong way to take the shortcut out. That was clever. And a crappy skeleton. Oh wow, he actually deflected that. Yeah, because it's down and then there's stairs there. It's just a little bit of overkill. scared. I think that's a shield, yeah. Shell fragment. I don't know if that's any good or not. Yeah, lots of enemies this time. One of the first times I actually remember seeing Narcisse get a skill level. But we are done with that area for now. I thought that finished as soon as you entered the town again. I do like that Will's story gets revealed gradually instead of being able to read most of the important points like with Gus's. I think that is going to be it for me this time, though. Thank you for watching, and I will be back with more of this on Friday.